Yeah, fun. Sean Spicer, Strategist and Communications Director for the Republican National Committee. Some might say fun. Sean, to you, probably maybe not the appropriate word to use. Donald Trump, though, saying that he is going to glide to the nomination. Possible?
Yeah, sure. I think John did a good job of laying out the numbers and the states coming, and it's possible, sure. But it's also possible that Senator Cruz does well or that Governor Kasich picks up some more. But that's why we go through the process. I think it's really interesting. You know, when you look at this year compared to at least the last few cycles, more and more voters are having an opportunity to participate in this process than ever before. States that have never been important in this primary process are extremely important. We're talking now about states like California and New Jersey on June 7th. Those are states that normally haven't mattered. In 2008, John McCain was the presumptive nominee in March. In my state of Virginia, we didn't get an opportunity to have a really robust discussion because Senator McCain had already clinched the nomination. Governor Romney had clinched it in April, and that cut out a lot of states. So, frankly, overall, I think this is a very positive process that's involving more states, involving more voters. I think that's a positive thing for the party, net.
That is the best spin I have heard yet on turning all of this into something positive, that more people get to have a say and care, and there's something to that. Sean, Donald Trump, though, is very angry, and as you know, he is taking this to the campaign trail, even tonight in Hartford, and here he is late today talking about your party.
We have a rigged system. The Republican system is rigged.
He has called out the chairman of the RNC by name. As you know, Sean, the chairman has responded. Are you worried that the RNC, which is supposed to be neutral, is starting to look anti-Trump?
Not at all. I think, whether it is the guest that you had earlier, I think most people who have been involved in the process of the system understand that each of these states writes their own rules, talks about the process for the allocation and selection of delegates. As John King noted earlier, Wyoming, which will have its major tomorrow, has had its system in place since the 1970s. Look, I don't think it's a surprise that the people who belong to the Republican Party write the party rules in each of these states. That's like saying that the people in the Kiwanis Club shockingly write the rules of the Kiwanis Club, or the people in a neighborhood who belong to an HOA write the rules of that HOA. I'm not really sure what all of the concern is, but I know that it's difficult, that there are 50 states and 6 territories in the District of Columbia. I know it's not easy, and sometimes it's complicated to understand, but that's why campaigns take this so seriously. And so it's part of the process. It has been part of the process for a century. It'll continue to be part of the process. And frankly, the Republican Party is more democratic than the Democratic Party because we don't have these so-called unelected party boss superdelegates that aren't accountable to anybody.
Being more democratic than a party that isn't democratic may not be the best argument out there. And I only say that, I know it sounds as if I'm being facetious, but as you point out, John, the rules are different in every single state. They are complicated. They change without people, regular voters, being aware of it. To most Americans, just hearing, look, the rules are the rules. It doesn't seem right? It's a democracy. Every vote is supposed to count equally. Do you need to do more to justify the system to regular voters?
Well, first of all, we're conservatives. We're Republicans. We believe in states' rights. The last thing that we should, as conservatives and Republicans, want is a one-size-fits-all Washington approach to how we vote. A caucus seems like a really good idea in Iowa. A primary seems like a good idea in Wisconsin, where the chairman's from. It should be up to these states and territories to decide for the grassroots members of that party in that state or territory, the District of Columbia, to decide how they want to select their nominees. I think that's the beauty of what we as Republicans and conservatives support, is we believe that states and territories should make those decisions at the grassroots level, not in Washington. So I think we should be proud of it. Now, to your point, I think we at the RNC have not seen an open convention or the possibility of a real open convention in 40-plus years. It's incumbent upon us to really get out there and explain those rules, explain where they are, and I think we've continued to do that. We're going to do more of that, to brief people, to put things out. We started a website, conventionfacts.gop, that starts to explain the system. I put a memo out today. It's on my Twitter feed.
Right, I saw
it. It's at GOP, where we talk about what's coming up. And so I do think that from a process standpoint, we need to do a better job of explaining it. But I think we should be very proud of the fact that all of these states and territories, it's the grassroots members of the party in each of these places that gets an opportunity to write their rules every 4 years, put them out there for all to see, and then let campaigns have at it.
All right. And they are doing that. Thank you, Sean. Appreciate it. Good to talk to you.